Yeah.
Especially if you want quality. Hold on. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Les Emang, and welcome to the First Column podcast. Today, I'm joined by a woman that inspires me and continues to inspire others, Miss Moitshepi Matsheng. She is the co-founder of Youth Impact and the former BNYC chair. But I'd love to afford her the opportunity to introduce herself. So, hi, Moitshepi.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so humbled.
Yeah.
So Moitshepi is a 32-year-old Motswara lady from Brobadilepe. And everywhere I go, I always share the way I'm from because
Yeah.
I believe home is where the heart is.
Yeah.
It's also my favorite place in the whole world.
Yeah.
And is who I am.
Yeah.
Your roots are where you're from. But more, broadly,
Yeah.
my purpose in life is to build.
Yeah.
And to ensure that every interaction that I have, whether it is work or personal, I leave with something. And I've done this, a lot with my community work. As well as co-founding
Yeah.
Youth Impact Organization, which the ultimate emphasis is to ensure that we can make a change in the lives of young people.
Beautifully
And
put.
why I'm really, inspired to do so is when we talk about young people, we are talking about people that would be, 20 years old in future or even 30-year-olds, right? They are the next generation to
Yeah.
create that change.
Yeah.
And I believe a lot in building young people such that they can, thrive and also be successful
Of course.
as they continue, shaping their countries and their communities.
Beautifully put. Thank you so much for joining us and telling us a little bit about what gives you purpose, what keeps you moving. I think I'd love for us to get the jitters of this conversation
Yes.
off first through a little rapid fire question round, right? Okay, cool. So you've got to be super, super fast with your
Okay,
responses.
cool.
Don't think about it.
Okay.
Right? Okay, cool. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Morning.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up?
I go and brush my teeth.
Yeah. What's one word your friends would use to describe you?
Bubbly.
Bubbly. Do you have a dream travel destination that you haven't visited
Oh, yes.
yet? Where?
Greece.
Greece. Okay, we share in that. Do you have a book that changed your perspective on life?
I really loved Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg.
Lean In by Cheryl. Sneakers or heels?
Sneakers.
Go to comfort food?
My fresh.
My fresh. Same, right? Same. Wait. A song that instantly lifts your mood?
Oh my gosh, one is hard. I would have to go right now. I'm listening to a lot of ATI, so
Yeah.
I really love Lipoi.
Lipoi is beautiful. I was listening to that as well. If you weren't leading Youth Impact, what do you think you'd be doing?
I think I'd be a writer.
You'd be an author. Brilliant. What's one habit that keeps you grounded?
I think
Mhm.
spending time with my friends and family.
Friends and family, quality time. And then the most inspiring woman in your life.
It would have to be. Oh, I have a lot.
You have a lot.
I
top
have a lot.
3, top 5.
I would say someone such as, my mom. Though
That's
she's
beautiful.
late, she's
Yeah.
someone that I really hold close. Her values, the way she lived.
Yeah.
I'm inspired, by Dr. Mokodi at the University of Botswana. She's a professor in sociology and has really shaped, a lot of and the way I think
Yeah.
as well. But I would say I have, tons of ladies that I surround
That
myself
you
with
look
that
up to
really
and inspire you.
inspire me.
Beautifully put. I think just to dive right into the crux of our conversation, firstly, thank you for being such a good sport and drilling through our questions. You've mentioned your mom. I think it would be nice for you to take us all the way back to Boroba Dilepe. What is little Moitshepi doing? What does her life look like? And are there any experiences that you're going through in your younger years that you feel are shaping this woman that we are looking at right now?
Yeah, so let me just first start by my journey.
Yeah.
So I lost my biological parents when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
So it was a very young age.
It is.
But I was grateful to be raised by loving grandparents who really molded the lady that I am today. So my dad, his name is Rev Joseph Seate Matsheng.
Yeah.
And he was one of the first deacons at the Roman Catholic Church.
Interesting.
But also, did a lot of work at the University of Botswana in public admin as well as worked, for government.
Yeah.
But how I would say is he was very much a community builder. In many ways, he shaped a lot of my thinking, as well as, the need to be able to do work that really matters for your community.
Yeah.
My grandma, she was a senior conveyancer at the Attorney General, but she never went to any formal school. She actually just started and grew, and grew and
Worked
grew
her way up.
and worked her way up.
Yeah.
And I share this, these two figures in my life because they shaped a lot of how I grew up as a person.
Yeah.
First is I was always going to church, okay? So my life was school, church.
Yeah.
And then back home. And at church, so I'm Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
I joined Kiro. And through then, we were doing drama, it was singing, meeting with a lot of people, from different various Roman Catholic churches.
Yeah.
So I was really a busy and active child.
Yeah.
I remember many instances when sometimes I was leading a play, and because I was usually sometimes the youngest, they would just say, no, Moitshepi would do it.
Yeah.
So then, you learn how to be confident and, not really have shame in, expressing yourself. And also one of the pivotal moments is, because my grandparents had big hearts and love for everyone, we grew up in a huge community. So my house, or their house really, was always surrounded by our aunts, our uncles, our cousins. There wasn't a situation where Moitshepi had her own room. And even beyond there, every time that we would go to church, my dad gave a lift, to the congregants, and even after church, would all cook and have a big lunch for everyone.
Yeah.
So that really inspired, and I would say molded a lot of how I grew up.
Yeah.
I remember, every Saturday or every Sunday, my parents would either go to funerals, or even after church, they'd go pray for the sick at hospitals, and even weddings, right?
So it was in your routine to be rooted in community.
And I would just come and I'll go,
I get you.
And I would be there. And even when my dad, was sometimes going to go prison, I would be there. So
you tagged along to prison.
Yes, I did at a very young age. Though I wasn't allowed in, but I was
aware of the work he was doing,
aware and conscious that that's what he was doing. So I would say my grandparents really inspired a lot of the work that I continue doing. And they did so much. They were so selfless. And one of the things that my dad used to say to me is, I may not be rich, but I am living a life that is purposeful. I know what my purpose is, and I want to continue giving more of that. And I believe that is a lot of what has shaped me now, to becoming who I am.
I've got so many question bubbles popping up in my mind. You mentioned being the youngest in the room. Oftentimes, would you say that was something that was difficult to navigate?
No, I think I see being young as a great thing. And the more I grow older, the more I realize that. Because when you're young, you are coming with a sense of naive naiveness,
Naivete,
right?
yeah.
And not really knowing much, right? So you're willing to do things. You're willing to also learn from others.
Yeah.
And I think the more I grow older, I'm still young, by the way.
Very.
The more I grow older, the
Yeah.
more I realize how that is a great thing.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that I love is always being childlike. And in any of your interactions and in anything that you do.
Yeah.
And being childlike means that you bring a sense of curiosity on the world, a sense of energy,
Yeah.
a sense of, really, wonder and imagination.
Yeah.
And I think those are the things that we should keep going. So the more I grow older, the more I really appreciate the youthfulness and really the childlike mentality and the mindset that is so important in anything that you'd want to do and continue doing, actually.
To stay curious. I
Yes,
hear you.
absolutely.
You mentioned, I believe it was your gran working at AG.
Yes.
Is that what inspired your decision to go on and pursue your LLB? How did we end up there?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
And thank you for asking me that. No one has ever actually answered me. So I would say I grew up as a highly curious child.
Yeah.
So I asked my grandparents like 100 questions in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And they used to say, "Hey, Moitshepi, o bua thata o e go nna agente." So, I started kind of thinking about, what does it mean to be a lawyer? And also at the same time, I, really loved to speak and to present. And I thought, what better, thing to pursue than law.
Than the law.
And my whole emphasis was that I wanted to, challenge the status quo in how things are being done. I wanted to also speak up, for people's rights. So I went to study law, and it was sort of a natural path because, I really loved writing. I loved reading. And I thought, I'm not really good at sciences.
Yeah.
Numbers are too complex at times.
Yeah.
And law kind of seemed as a natural fit. So that's why I wanted to pursue my LLB.
Yeah.
And then I did, actually. I went to the University of Botswana from 2011. And then after my 4th year, then I committed to saying, because I started Youth Impact actually, roughly at 3rd year.
Oh, okay.
Then I finished my 4th year and I was like, I want to focus on, building youth impact and really growing the organization. Okay. So I left school for about 2 years and then I came back at 2019 to complete my year.
Okay.
At that time, my parents were like, why would you stop school?
I was about to ask,
you
how did they
literally
react?
left with 1 year. And why would you stop school? And, my dad tried to kick up a fuss. My grandma was like, whatever you want, do it. Do it, my child. But, I had a burning desire, a deep desire to say that I really believe in the work that we are doing.
Yeah.
And at that time, Youth Impact, we're still very young. We didn't have, much funding, but also we're still chiseling out our mission and our work. But I felt that I really, had to be here and do it.
Yeah.
And that's, why I pursued it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you have a burning desire at the pit of your stomach. And sometimes you don't really know why, or you don't have the full answers.
Yeah.
But you have this burning desire. And, that's the path that I chose.
Yeah.
To my friends at law school, they couldn't quite comprehend to say, Moitshepi, you literally left with 1 year.
Yeah.
And then I said, that's a great thing that I'm left with the 1 year.
Yeah.
I remember, my aunts went to check at school that had I failed, and maybe
Yeah.
I don't want
You were
to.
shy.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell them,
Yeah.
but no, I hadn't.
Yeah.
But I felt as if, sometimes when you feel that this
In
is
your
the right
gut.
time,
Yeah.
you don't know why, right? So
Yeah.
I went to pursue that, and did law, and I'm grateful or
Yeah.
happy that I kind of
You
went through
followed
that route.
Yeah, that's incredible. I didn't know that you had taken a bit of a hiatus from your school. So what we've been talking about youth impact, youth impact, youth impact. I think now would be a great time
Yes.
for you to tell the first column what that is. What is this initiative that we're talking about? I know it was initially Young Love. What was Young Love? Do they coexist now? Is it a project under this? Take us back to the inception of this baby that has now grown and set its foot across multiple countries.
Yeah, no, happy to.
Yeah.
And your brother was there in many ways
Yeah.
on our genesis of Young Love or Youth Impact.
Yeah.
So we started Youth Impact in 2014. I was at the University of Botswana studying law. And we also had 3 other co-founders actually initially in the beginning.
Yeah.
2 of our co-founders, Noam and Brenda, came to the University of Botswana as Fulbright scholars.
Yeah.
And I was there with Unami Moitshepi, who also was a University of Botswana student.
Yeah.
And one of the things that were pivotal is what can we be able to do to change our communities?
Yeah.
And one of the things that we started doing as an organization was to implement an HIV prevention program that was focusing on the risk of older partners on young girls.
Yeah.
And we found that in Kenya, the study had been done and it reduced teenage pregnancy by 28%.
Okay.
So the whole idea was that we will try and go to a few classes to deliver, this work that had been done into Kenya to adapt it to the Botswana context.
Okay.
So now, we had an idea of the program that we wanted to do to really curb HIV and AIDS in our country.
Yeah.
So we then said, okay, let's try fundraise and ensure that we can be able to get more people on board. We approached one bank and they said, you'll have to register an organization for you to even pursue this work. So what we did was then we registered Young Love and then we started. But I would say we conceptualized it as an idea and then we registered it. We then had a big launch event at the UB Amphitheater.
Yeah.
I mean, we invited permanent secretaries, we invited young people, we invited performers, and over thousands of young people were there.
Yeah.
And to us, it was a surreal moment because, from an idea to now trying to start to formalize it and then having, multitudes of people, come, for our launch event was really so special, but also so real.
Yeah.
So as an organization, our mission is to connect young people to proven life-changing information.
Okay.
And we do this by having 3 approaches. The first one is by the youth for the youth.
Yeah.
So we are very youthful, as you can see me, but also we really care about young people to ensure that our programs are really tailored to young people.
Of course.
And then our second approach is evidence, right?
Always.
To say that whatever that we're going to do as an organization, we need to know, does it actually work? If we're delivering programs, are they bringing the desired results? But not only that, we also have to generate evidence to understand the work that we are able to do.
Of course.
And then our third pillar is working with the government, particularly in health and education. Often at times, NGOs, their role is to support a lot of government's practices. But our approach as an organization is to think about how do we integrate with the government. This means that listening, to what the government's priorities are, aligning our programs to government's interests as well as direction. So we actually see our work by working hand in hand with the government. We currently have a standing MOU with the Ministry of Child Welfare and Basic Education to scale some of our programs to all primary schools in the country.
That's incredible.
So that's a big mandate. So a lot of the work that we see as an organization is how do we continuously embed with government priorities as well as policies and programming. So that's just a little bit more about youth impact, and I can share about our programs. But what I could emphasize is it has, now we are 11 years old. We have reached over 500,000 young people and working in over 10 countries. And in some of these countries that we're working in, we have established, a presence. Countries such as Namibia, we're working in half of the regions in the country. In South Africa, we're working in Gauteng as well as Northwest Province. We're also working in the Philippines as well as India, where we have teams and, our programs are running there. So just to share, the genesis of the organization, we started as a team of 4. Now we are close to 500 people that are working, at Youth Impact. And we have grown in leaps and bounds with the idea, at the end of it all, we want young people to thrive. And that's really the core focus of us as an organization.
That's beautifully put. I know, having been a serial volunteer and then going on to work in social behavior change myself, most NGOs tend to struggle with these partnerships with government. What would you say is the key to solidifying your relationship with government? Say you're a CSO.
And that's a very critical question. And I think often at times we really need to unpack it more, especially as a social entrepreneur and an NGO leader. So one of the things that we did as an organization is we have what we call our direct delivery model. These are young people that we are hiring to actually lead and deliver a lot of our work. And we then also have the government-led delivery model, which is working through teachers or Matirelos Chaba or the National Internship Program. The direct delivery model allows us to learn and also to show what is possible. And I think having these two concurrent arms together is helpful, such that we can learn through our direct delivery model on, what does it take to simplify a program for a teacher to actually deliver it, but also to show what is possible. Often at times when we bring ideas to the government, they have a list of priorities. But you also want to show what is possible. Then you invite them into your work for them to actually see. Sometimes, pitching does not necessarily mean, that one can be able to get and one can be able to grasp. So you need to actually show what is possible. And we believe that having, a direct delivery model, fuels the fire for government. And in the beginning, we had to make that intentional decision, because often at times is that you will bring programs or solutions and then the government will take them on. But we know that is a long time work. It just doesn't happen, at the snap of your fingers.
That's true.
And the other second thing is to ask yourself, are you leading with the problem or the solution? And it is a humbling question to ask, because often at times, you have this great idea and then everyone should, take it upon. I really like this phrase of, fall in love, with the problem, not the solution, right? And that really makes you think that as you are working and approaching with the government, are you really trying to tackle the challenge, or are you just trying to push your mandate? And I say this because government and people within government, right? They interact with so many people. Everyone is always trying to bring a solution. Everyone is always trying to have a great idea. And you should also realize that the idea that you're sharing is not eureka, right? Someone else has thought about it before, right? So really, getting into working with the government, to co-create together. And I think that's where the beauty comes in, to really listen, right? To pay attention on their priorities. If you're sitting down with a minister, right, thinking about that they are at policy and guidelines, right? The implementers would probably be the councils or, at regional level, right? So understanding, how the infrastructure and the architecture is to really then drive, your solutions. That's why I believe a lot in co-creation. And we have learned quite a lot as an organization and how we have grown. Right now we are operating in all the regions in the country in Botswana. We've learned that the action is at the regional level. To work with regional directors, by the Ministry of Education is where the action happens, right? Decisions are often and rarely not taken at the top. And I think a lot of people think that, you'll meet the minister and then you'll share with them your brilliant idea and then they sign it off, right? Hardly ever. Hardly ever. And I haven't seen it. I'm not saying it's impossible, right? Ministers can play a role of influence. They can play a role of creating an enabling environment, and also setting the policies and the priorities, right? But it has to trickle down. And we have learned a lot, from, our experience as an organization about how each layer fits in together, and you could be able to drive that change. So we actually believe in the top down and the bottom up and the sideways approach. Right? to get it to work. Right? And I think often at times, people think that because you shared and you spoke to the highest, level in that office,
that's all
that
you need
will
to
trickle
do.
down. And we've learned, to work with everyone within the system. So a lot of our work is actually just trying to figure out those key pieces to getting it to work.
I feel like you've given an incredibly fleshed out answer, though. Everything from co-creation with the government to ensuring that you need to be able to have some sort of proof of concept, if I'm understanding you.
Yes.
Well, to say it's not just a grand idea, but here we are, we're taking the steps to implement. This is the impact that we're making. Can we do a thing?
Absolutely.
Right? I'm just looking at our time and I'm trying to kind of piece our story together. I know that you were the chairperson for the BNYC. I'm incredibly curious to find out where that came about in the story of Moitshepi. When did you start? You're joining at around 2019, 2020. It's COVID times. You are weathering the storm as well in your role, and then elapsing in 2024. What did that look like? Having to hold that position in such a turbulent time for young people in this country, and what good came out of it, despite us having that context.
That's a very helpful thing to reflect on. So I got appointed in the year 2019, just before the pandemic. I think it was around October at that time, and I believe my appointment it was by the minister at that time. Was because I had done a lot of the work in the youth development space, including youth impact. So I didn't sign up for it. I didn't kind of apply. It was an appointment. And at that time, I was so humbled, because I was thinking that it is a huge role, especially when you talk about what the emphasis is when you advocate and speak around youth issues for young people.
Exactly.
And then just slightly months later, the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
Then you kind of had to sit down and think about how do we now program for young people at a hard time when a lot of the things, weren't really happening.
Yeah.
And, it was a board role. So we had to provide a lot of oversight and guidance to the secretariat at that time, but also liaise with the ministry.
Yeah.
So that really was the emphasis, as well as, the idea of the role, as well as what I was meant to do.
Yeah.
A few things that I really pushed at that time was to engage with young people and ensure that we can keep, the dialogue open to, one of our key roles as the Botswana National Youth Council is to share information, right?
Yeah.
On government programs, but also on opportunities that are there in the country, also that are led by the government.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we were able to do at that time is to run, virtual as well as in-person dialogues.
Yeah.
And then one of the things that I remember we used to do as the board is what we call, youth board trainings. This was, reaching out to the furthest regions, again, speaking with young people to train them on issues such as mental health, as well as, CV interview writing, resource mobilization, starting a business. And these were things that I felt at that time that I had control over and could do more of. And it was really important right now because when you think about, monana oiling mohaborone, it's very different than oiling go kachikao, for example.
Yeah.
And really, we had to think about when we speak at these different, areas, what should we emphasize, but also what can we prioritize. So I really tried, for us to really engage with young people, because at the end of the day, that's why we're all there. So we had a board, with folks that were from different, villages, also with diverse backgrounds. So the idea that I was trying to really push at that time is what can we do in order to be able to help young people. More importantly, also, this was at the time that we started reviewing a couple of programs. We reviewed the National Youth Policy, which is soon, to be launched. We reviewed the YDF on its operations, as well as how we grant as Botswana National Youth Council. And these are things that, I hope they still continue and they have a long lasting legacy. Another thing that it was very important to us as the Botswana National Youth Council is how can we position ourselves globally. This was a time in which we then championed as well as advocated and supported young people from Botswana to stand for the Commonwealth Youth Council elections. But also for us to still, continue our partnership with the Pan-African Youth Council, because what's important is when you speak about young people, we have to also ensure that they can be able to access opportunities in Botswana and beyond, but also be advocates, right, in these structures, that serve as coordinating agencies of youth councils and youth development work. So that really also was some of the things that we did when I was chair, and also, when my time was with the Botswana National Youth Council. It ended 2024. They now currently have a new board and a new chairperson, which is really wonderful. One of the things that was also my emphasis is when I joined, I kind of got in there and the role was there, but
Yeah.
not too many, institutional memory. So a lot of the things that I did at that time with the board as well was to write, the terms of reference for the board,
Set up the structure.
and setting up, the structure, because it's also important, right, to
Yeah.
know, where you're going, but with having a strong foundation.
Of course.
So I'm happy to see the continuity of the
Yeah.
National Youth Council, and they have such an amazing board, also with diverse people from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
But at least now they know a lot of, where their direction is, and hopefully we made a small dent into that.
That's brilliant. We've spoken at length about your respective accomplishments and the positions you've held, and I'm just curious to know how you just keep it all going. I for one have struggled with burnout, like your lapa, and then I'll think to myself, why it's a trailblazer bohedil, like like I'm tired. and I guess I'm just curious to know how do you keep it going? How do you wake up and maintain that confidence to say, okay, I'm in this role for a reason, I'm going to impact these lives, I'm going to keep doing it?
Yeah. No, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
You should rest also. Rest
Yeah.
is very important.
Yeah.
But just to share is, I love what I do.
Yeah.
And when you're leading a team, you know that you're responsible for a lot of people, right? It's not about you, in many ways.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for a lot of people. I love what I do. I believe so much in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I believe that I'm only just getting started.
That's beautiful.
I believe that I haven't even scratched the surface as of yet. There's still a lot to do.
Yeah.
When you think about Botswana and where we are, is young people for majority of the country's demographic.
That's true.
When you look at the unemployment rates, you find that we're still, significant. We still have a big challenge as a country. Sometimes, I always joke with my friends to say, I wish I didn't care, but I care so much on ensuring that we as young people can really be the driving force towards change in this country and beyond.
Yeah.
And we still have the energy. So I believe that I'm only just getting started.
Yeah.
And that freshness comes from learning from people, being in conversation with different, people that fuel your energy, surrounding yourselves by positive, like-minded people, right? And really taking it all in, not just having a conversation because you have to, really learning from different people. One of the things that I love to do is I love to ask questions. But also I'm always curious. I want to understand the motive, When you said you wanted to start this podcast, I want to know why. Okay, then you'll give me an answer. Then I'll come back, a day later and ask you, really? So when you tapped into that, what is it that you want to get out of it? I'm fooled by people's energy and motive. And I think that's what really keeps me going, because I really believe that it is up to us to shape our future. And I believe that we're just getting started. And, we have a long way to go. And, I believe in the work that is important. You must rest, right? You must sleep, because you are only as good as how you show up. Right? And if I show up tired, to this podcast, I'm going to give you a tired vibe. I might even, make you tired, right? So you do need to think about what are those pockets of joy. For me, surrounding myself with my family and friends, talking to people. ensuring that I play board games. I love playing board games, and just really letting it all go,
Yeah.
and laughing, because there's so much to life.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what keeps me going. I said a lot, but those are some of the things that I think about on having that energy,
Yeah.
and still maintaining that beat to life.
Yeah. I think that's incredibly well put. Before I close, I wanted to check in if there's anything I left out, anything you might be curious about. The final question is always how the guest hopes to be remembered. And yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a clean segue into
That's it.
no notes.
Are you sure?
Oh, you covered everything.
Yeah.
You started the whole interview from the back to the front.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm really happy.
Are there any questions you'd like to ask?
No, I trashly explained my organization, but hopefully it was okay.
That was brilliant.
You covered it.
Yeah. Is there anything that maybe we left out, like future plans?
Maybe can
That's
you ask about
definitely.
what our programs are? I don't know how you're going to weave it in.
We're actually wary of your time because
It's 2:00. So we
okay.
can touch briefly on
Yeah, I can do another 15 minutes.
yeah, just to close it while I get.
just give a platform to youth impact.
So the initial question was going to be phrased, what's next for youth
Okay,
impact?
cool. Oh, I'll weave it in.
That's
there.
fine.
I'll
I get
weave it in there.
because
Yeah.
then you're talking about lengthening and scaling,
Yeah.
and you're touching on the programs already,
Yes.
and then
Yeah,
you
then I'll
as a
weave it
person.
in. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's for youth impact. Then you personally.
Yeah, sure.
What's next for Moitshepi?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned the
Right.
show if you wanna mention.
No, not yet.
All right.
It's still
I'll still say.
Talk about this one,
Yeah.
because we're gonna. All right.
All right. Great.
Exciting.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Let me go back to look at my guest. Okay.
Mhm.
Adrian, are we ready?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So I'm just super, super curious to know, right? What's next for Youth Impact? We've spoken a little bit on the organization, its inception, but I want to know a little bit more about the program of offerings, how it's going to continue to affect young people positively, and yeah, just your general plans for the organization.
Yeah. We have a big vision.
Yeah.
And our vision is to reach 1 million young people.
Yeah.
So that is bold. And we can't be able to do this without partnerships.
True.
And that is really, our emphasis as an organization. We're so grateful for our partners, donors, supporters, the team, the people that have really been a part of this movement.
Yeah.
And I like to call it a movement because we are focusing a lot on health and education, which are the cornerstone of development. And our focus and our programs, are centered around HIV prevention. So ensuring that young people know that older partners are risky.
Yeah.
And to make healthier relationship choices. And our other program is focusing on ensuring that young people get the necessary skills in foundational literacy and numeracy. We have found that when we did our initial needs assessment, we found that only 10% of grade 5 students could do division. This means that majority of the students are falling behind, right? They're not at curriculum expectations.
Yeah.
So we have set on a mission as an organization to ensure that every young person can read and count, and to ensure that we equip them with the basic foundational skills to be able to access life. So we have a big vision and a mission, ahead, and we're really excited, to, for everyone, right, to join the movement that is Youth Impact. And, young people are the driving force behind the organization.
Yeah.
But also we believe a lot in the youthful spirit, right? And as I
Always.
mentioned earlier on, for the energy, curiosity, to be able to create that change.
Yeah.
So we're really excited, because we have a long way to go. When you see, for example, mo Botswana hela, from primary school PSLE results to JCE to BGCSE, we're not doing well as a country.
Yeah.
And, we believe that if we focus on foundational learning as a country, but also as an organization, we can be able to make a small dent.
Yeah.
We need to focus on the foundation, because ha ngwana I see a kgone go dira algebra, ha ngwana I see a kgone go dira addition, how are they going to do algebra? How are they going to be able to do fractions, for example?
Yeah.
So we believe that these pivotal years in primary school, these are the building blocks to ensure that we can be able to accelerate and do better in much higher years.
That's beautifully put. And I'm also just curious to know about what's next for Moitshepi.
That's very good. So I want to focus on my creative side.
Yeah.
That's why I really love what you do, and please pursue it.
Yeah.
Right? Remember I told you that Youth Impact, we're now 11 years old.
Yeah.
So I want 11 years time, to still see you doing this, or even other things,
more.
but still pursue. Okay, stay the long game. I want to focus on writing. Hey, I have a lot to share, and I think that really calms my spirit. It's what I love to do. So I really want to focus on my writing. Maybe I'll have a book. Who knows? But yes.
That's so exciting. And then my favorite question is, how would you like to be remembered when it's all said and done and we look back at the life of the formidable Moitshepi?
So touching. I would love to be remembered as someone that was kind and helpful.
Yeah. Kind and helpful. Character first. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining the first column. I really enjoyed sitting opposite you, and I really appreciate you gracing this platform.
Much. Yeah, thank you. I'm so humbled, and please continue pursuing. I think it won't be smooth. There'll be some bumpy roads, as always with everything.
As always.
But your heart, is in the right place, and I really wish you the absolute best.
Thank you. Is there any social media or any platforms that you would like to plug?
Very good question. So I'm Moitshepi Matsheng on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. And then we can always check out Youth Impact on the
Absolutely,
.org.
yes.
Yeah.
Check out Youth Impact on all social media platforms.
Yes.
On Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, all the social media.
Everywhere.
We're there, even on our website.